A blackjack dealer slides you an ace. Your heart races. You double down, feeling unstoppable. But what if I told you that every move, every smile, every word from that dealer is carefully calculated to make you lose faster? Former casino dealers are finally exposing the psychological tricks they were trained to use against players. And once you know these 7 specific techniques, you'll never look at a casino table the same way again. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how dealers manipulate your emotions, your pace, and your decisions without you even realizing it. Trick number 7, the friendly dealer routine. That warm smile greeting you at the blackjack table? Former dealers reveal it's not just customer service, it's strategic psychology. Dealers are specifically trained during their orientation to build rapport quickly, make eye contact, remember your name, celebrate your wins enthusiastically. One former dealer from Vegas put it bluntly, "If you like me, you lose more and you don't even mind." Here's how it works according to behavioral science. When someone feels socially connected, their guard drops. Research shows people take 23% more financial risks when they feel comfortable with the person facilitating the transaction. At a casino table, that comfort translates directly into bigger bets and longer sessions. Former dealers report being coached to create what the industry calls friendship illusion. They'll ask about your hometown, comment on your lucky shirt, remember your drink preference from last time. It feels genuine because good dealers make it feel genuine. But casino management tracks dealer personality ratings against table revenue. The friendliest dealers consistently generate 15 to 20% more action per hour. Think about your own experiences. Have you ever stayed at a table longer than planned because you enjoyed chatting with the dealer? That's not coincidence, that's design. One documented case involves a regular player who lost $8,000 over 6 months playing exclusively at one dealer's table. When asked why he kept returning despite consistent losses, he said, "Mike's good people. We have great conversations." The psychology runs deeper. When you like someone, losing to them feels less adversarial. Your brain reframes the loss as a social exchange rather than a financial defeat. You're not losing money to the casino. You're having fun with your friend who happens to deal cards. Former dealers admit the hardest part of leaving the job was knowing how these relationships really worked. As one put it, "Players thought we were friends, but I was trained to bleed them dry with a smile." And speaking of bleeding players dry, the next trick happens so fast you won't even notice your money disappearing. Trick number 6, the pace of the game. Casinos despise dead time. Every second a table sits quiet is lost revenue. That's why dealers undergo speed training that would shock most players. The target? Deal 350 to 400 hands of blackjack per hour. Spin the roulette wheel 40 times. Complete 200 craps rolls. The faster the game moves, the more the house edge grinds away your bankroll. Former dealers explain the technique. Never pause between hands. Sweep losing bets while announcing the next round. Keep chips moving, cards flying, dice rolling. One Atlantic City dealer revealed their manager's favorite phrase, "Smooth is fast, fast is money." Here's what that speed does to your brain. Psychological studies show humans need approximately 6 seconds to fully process a financial loss. At a properly paced table, you get maybe 2 seconds before the next bet is required. Your mind never catches up. You're always reacting, never thinking. The math is brutal. At 60 hands per hour, a blackjack player with a $25 average bet risks $1,500 hourly. Bump that to 90 hands per hour, and suddenly they're risking $2,250. Same player, same strategy, just less thinking time. That extra $750 per hour in action translates to an additional $15 per hour in expected losses for the house. Former dealers describe specific speed techniques they mastered. The flowing deal, where cards never stop moving. The continuous shuffle that eliminates dead time between shoes. The rapid clear, where losing bets vanish before winners finish celebrating. Every motion choreographed to maintain momentum. Watch a professional dealer's hands next time. Notice how they never fully stop moving. Cards to chips, to cards again. It's hypnotic by design. Your conscious mind locks onto the movement while your subconscious keeps pushing chips forward. One retired dealer shared this observation. Players in my home game take 30 seconds to make decisions. Those same players at my casino table decided in 3 seconds. The pace hijacked their judgment. But speed is just half the manipulation. The next trick turns your winning moments into your biggest losses. Trick number 5. Subtle encouragement to press your luck. You just hit 3 blackjacks in a row? The dealer's eyes light up. You're on fire tonight. The whole table's watching. You double your bet. This moment, according to former dealers, is exactly when the house knows they've got you. Dealers are trained to recognize and amplify winning streaks. Not because they want you to win more, but because they know mathematics guarantees your hot streak will end. And when it does, you'll be betting double or triple your comfort zone. Former dealers reveal the specific phrases they were taught. You're due for another one. Ride the wave. Press it while you're hot. These aren't random encouragements. They're studied psychological triggers that bypass logical thinking and activate what researchers call probability neglect. Here's the reality check. Every hand of blackjack has roughly the same house edge, between 0.5% and 2% depending on rules and your skill level. Your previous wins don't change the next hand's odds, but when a dealer reinforces the hot streak narrative, your brain releases dopamine that overrides mathematical reasoning. Statistical analysis shows the pattern clearly. Players increase their average bet size by 40 to 60% during perceived winning streaks, but those streaks last an average of just 4 to 5 hands. The inflated bets continue for another 10 to 15 hands while players chase the feeling. That's where the real damage happens. One former dealer from Connecticut shared a typical scenario. A player starts betting $25 per hand, wins 4 hands straight. Dealer encourages them to press. They bump to $100 per hand. Over the next 20 hands, they win 8 and lose 12, exactly what probability predicts. But those losses at $100 each wipe out the entire winning streak and then some. The psychological term is recency bias. Your recent wins feel predictive even though they're just random variants. Dealers know this. They're trained to spot it and amplify it. When you're up, they become your biggest cheerleader, knowing that confidence is about to cost you. The most sinister part? When the streak ends and you lose those big bets, the same dealer consoles you with, "You were so close to another big win," setting you up to chase again. But here's what's even more deceptive. The dealer's about to hand you the cards, make you feel like you're in charge, except you're not, and the proof will shock you. Trick number 4, the illusion of control. The dealer spreads the deck across the felt. Cut wherever you'd like. You reach out, split the cards confidently. It feels like you're directing the game. Former dealers reveal this is pure theater. No matter where you cut, how you throw the dice, or which seat you choose, the mathematical probabilities never budge. Not even by 0.0%. Psychological studies call this phenomenon illusion of control. When people physically interact with random events, they believe they're influencing outcomes. Casinos weaponize this quirk of human psychology. Former dealers report being specifically trained in what the industry calls player participation theater. Here's what they're taught. Let players touch everything possible. Offer meaningless choices constantly. Create dramatic moments around these interactions. One former craps dealer explained, "We'd make a huge show of handing someone the dice, telling them they're the shooter, building up the moment. They'd feel responsible for everyone's fortune. In reality, they might as well be pressing a button." The numbers prove the deception. Craps has a house edge of 1.4% on pass line bets. Whether you throw hard, soft, high, low, or let someone else throw makes zero mathematical difference. Yet studies show players who throw the dice themselves bet 28% more on average than those who don't. Blackjack cutting rituals are equally meaningless, with 6 to 8 decks shuffled together. Cutting changes nothing about your odds, but players who cut the deck report feeling 35% more confident in their next hand. That confidence translates to bigger bets on randomness they falsely believe they've influenced. Former dealers describe watching players develop elaborate personal systems, cutting exactly 3 times, only touching cards with their left hand, throwing dice after exactly 2 shakes. The dealers never discourage these behaviors because engaged players are profitable players. One veteran dealer from Reno summarized perfectly, the more control they thought they had, the less control they actually exercised over their money. But even when you realize you have no control, there's something about the table that keeps you hooked. and dealers are trained to encourage it. Trick number 3, lucky rituals and false superstitions. Watch any craps table for 5 minutes, someone's blowing on dice, another's rubbing them together. The dealer? Encouraging every ritual like it's sacred. Former dealers admit they're instructed never to interrupt these superstitions, not out of respect, but because superstitious players are gold mines. The training is explicit according to insiders. Never rush someone's ritual. Never suggest their system doesn't work. If someone wants to tap the table 3 times before every bet, you wait patiently. One former dealer revealed the reasoning. Superstitious players are emotionally invested players. Emotional players make terrible financial decisions. Research backs this up. Players who engage in gambling rituals spend 40% longer at tables and make 25% more impulsive bets than those who don't. They're not playing probabilities anymore. They're playing feelings. And feelings don't calculate house edges. Former dealers describe the most common superstitions they'd enable. The virgin shooter belief in craps, where first-time players are supposedly lucky. Completely false, but dealers play along enthusiastically. The third base protector in blackjack, who believes their decisions affect everyone's cards. Mathematically impossible with random shuffles, yet dealers nod supportively. Here's the psychological trap. When a superstition randomly works, it releases massive dopamine. Your brain locks onto that moment forever. When it fails 20 times after, you blame improper execution rather than questioning the superstition itself. Casinos count on this cognitive bias. One Atlantic City dealer shared how they'd subtly reinforce superstitions. If someone won after tapping their chips, I'd say those 3 taps worked. Next time they'd tap harder, bet bigger, believing they'd found the secret. The data is clear. Casinos with dealers who accommodate superstitions generate 18% more revenue per table than those who don't. Not because rituals change odds, but because they change behavior. Players stop thinking about expected value and start thinking about lucky streaks and magic touches. Former dealers report the guilt of watching intelligent people abandon logic for lucky pennies and special dice-throwing techniques. As one put it, we turned MIT graduates into fortune cookie believers. Think those superstitions are the worst of it? The next trick literally drops your IQ by 50 points while you're making financial decisions. Former dealers say it's happening to every single player. Trick number 2, strategic distraction. The music pulses, cocktails flow. The dealer asks about your weekend while dealing. It feels like entertainment, but former dealers reveal every sensory element is calibrated to shut down your mathematical brain. Casinos discovered long ago that distracted gamblers lose faster, not because they play worse, but because they play unconsciously. Former dealers explain their role in this sensory assault. Keep conversation flowing, maintain energy at the table, never let silence settle in. One veteran dealer admitted, "If you're talking, you're not calculating." That was literally written in our training manual. The science is fascinating. MIT researchers found that people making financial decisions while engaged in conversation show 45% reduced activity in the brain's analytical regions. At a casino table, that translates to pure instinct-based betting. No card counting, no basic strategy. Just gut feelings against mathematical edges. Former dealers described their distraction techniques, asking about vacation plans during crucial betting decisions, commenting on sports while you're calculating pot odds, creating group conversations that pull your focus from chip stacks to social dynamics. Every interaction timed to disrupt mental math. Here's what happens numerically. A focused blackjack player using basic strategy faces a house edge around 0.5%. That same player distracted by conversation and ambiance plays at roughly 2% disadvantage. On a $25 average bet at 80 hands per hour, that difference costs an extra $30 hourly. The auditory manipulation is precisely engineered. Casinos use 120 beat per minute music because that tempo increases risk-taking by 23%. Dealers match this energy with upbeat commentary and rapid-fire banter. Your heart rate sinks to the rhythm while your judgment evaporates. Former dealers reveal the darkest element, targeting analytical players specifically. If someone pulls out basic strategy cards or appears to be counting, Dealers are trained to increase distractions, more jokes, more questions, more theatrical chip handling, anything to break concentration. One former dealer from Connecticut confessed, "I watched engineers and accountants turn into impulse bettors just by asking about their kids while dealing. It was like watching their IQ drop 50 points. But all these tricks pale compared to the final manipulation. This one is so powerful, it turns your worst moments into fuel for more losses." Trick number 1. The emotional reset. You just lost $500 on a single hand? Your stomach drops. The dealer looks you in the eye with genuine seeming concern. "Rough beat. You were so close. Next hand's yours, I can feel it." That moment of empathy isn't kindness. Former dealers reveal it's the most powerful manipulation in their arsenal. Casinos discovered through decades of behavioral research that anger and frustration make people leave, but hope makes them stay. Dealers are extensively trained in what insiders call emotional recovery techniques. The goal: transform your loss pain into renewed optimism within seconds. Former dealers explain the psychology. After a significant loss, your brain experiences what researchers call cognitive dissonance. You know you should quit, but you want to recover. The dealer's empathy tips that internal battle toward continued play. They validate your frustration while immediately redirecting toward future possibility. The phrases are carefully scripted according to insider training documents. Never "better luck next time," which implies leaving. Always "you'll get it back," which assumes continued play. Never "that was unlucky," which acknowledges randomness. Always "you were so close," which suggests control and near success. Research from Harvard behavioral economists shows this emotional reset increases session length by an average of 47 minutes after major losses. Those 47 minutes typically generate the casino's highest margins because players chase losses with increasingly desperate bets. One former dealer from Vegas shared the technique that haunts him most. "When someone lost big, I'd share a story about another player who was down even more but won it all back." Complete fabrication usually, but it gave them permission to keep destroying themselves. The reset works because it hijacks your brain's natural recovery cycle. Normally, a significant loss triggers reflection and protective withdrawal. The dealer's intervention short-circuits that process, replacing protective instincts with artificial optimism. Former dealers report watching this cycle repeat dozens of times per shift. Loss, comfort, renewed betting, bigger loss, more comfort. One dealer tracked a regular player who experienced 23 emotional resets in a single night, each one pushing him deeper into debt while feeling supported and understood. The mathematical reality is stark. Players who experience dealer emotional support after losses bet 30% longer and 20% larger on average. That empathy you're feeling isn't human connection. It's weaponized psychology designed to extract maximum value from your vulnerability. Casinos don't need to rig the games. They just need to manage your emotions, your pace, and your hope. According to the dealers who've seen it from behind the felt, the house doesn't win because of luck. It wins because it knows exactly how you think.